What is it that really separates the people who are truly exceptional from, well, everyone else? It's not just about being smart or talented. Turns out it's this hidden ability, this tiny little habit that most of us just completely overlook. So let's get into what that is.
2%. That's it. Just let that number sink in for a second. It looks so small, right? Almost like nothing. But what this number represents? Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, according to our source material, this is the tiny percentage of people who have true mental control. I mean, just think about that for a second. A really rare ability to be in complete command of their own mind in a way that, frankly, the other 98% of us just aren't.
So, okay, that brings up the big question, right? What's their secret? What are these folks doing that separates them from everybody else? Well, the answer is, it's actually super simple. It's not some complicated skill you need to be born with or anything like that. It all comes down to a tiny little habit, a choice, the conscious decision to not react right away. Our source material even says this one thing is what separates reactive people from geniuses. So if it's that powerful, why aren't we all doing it?
Well, it's because most of us fall into this trap, the trap of the instant reaction. We've basically been trained to think that speed equals strength, that having a quick comeback means you have a sharp mind.
I mean, just think about it, right? In a debate, a meeting at work, or even just arguing with a friend, our whole culture rewards the person with the fastest answer, not necessarily the smartest one. If you hesitate, people see it as a flaw, like you're weak or you don't know what you're talking about. There's this constant pressure to have an answer for everything, right now.
But let's just push back on that idea for a minute. What if that instinct, to just fire back an answer immediately, what if that's actually a trap? What if that's the one thing holding you back from giving a much smarter, much more thought-out response?
So how do we get out of that trap? Well, it's all about unlocking what we'll call your second thought. And there's some really cool science that shows us exactly why taking that little pause is so incredibly powerful. The big idea here is something called cognitive inhibition. Basically, it's our brain's built-in ability to slam on the brakes when we have an emotional impulse. It lets us override those gut feelings and switch over to our reasoning mode. Think of it like a manual override for your brain's emotional autopilot. Okay, so this really breaks down the two different ways our brains work. You've got the reactive brain, let's call it system 1. This is the fast, emotional, instinctive part. It's your gut reaction. Then you've got the reasoning brain, or system 2. This one is slow, logical, and really deliberate. And here's the kicker. Most of us, most of the time, are running on that fast, reactive brain by default.
And here is the most important part. That measured pause we're talking about, it isn't just empty time. It is the switch. It's the action you take to shut down that fast, emotional brain and fire up the slower, more logical one on purpose.
And this is where we need to completely shift how we think about this. We have to reframe that moment of silence. It's not a lack of something to say, it's the presence of real thought. Honestly, it's your secret superpower.
Our source material puts it perfectly, and I love this quote. Your silence during an argument isn't weakness, it is your brain processing consequences before taking action. See, it's not hesitation, it's pure strategy.
So what's actually happening in that little gap of silence? It's a super fast 3-step process. First, you block that initial emotional impulse. Then, your brain starts weighing the consequences of different ways you could respond. And finally, you choose a deliberate, smart action. And that whole process, blocking, weighing, and then choosing, all happening in a split second of silence, that is the high-level mental control we talked about. That's what puts you in that top 2%. All right, so the final piece here is how can we actually start to master this measured pause? How do we claim this hidden power for ourselves in our day-to-day lives? Here's the main thing to remember. That little space, the one between something happening and you responding to it, that is where all your power is. That tiny little gap, that's your moment of freedom. Freedom to choose between a gut reaction and a reasoned response. It's the freedom to choose your own outcome. So I'll leave you with this to think about. The next time you feel that flash of anger or that urge to just snap back with a quick answer, what are you going to do with your next pause? Because as we've just seen, the power, it's all yours.